Priti Patel finally managed to win the request to appeal the decision that was allowing Shamima to return to the UK. Now, as you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, the High Court decided that Shamima should be allowed to return while she's appealing for her citizenship and the whole process. And the Home Office and Priti Patel said that they're going to try their best to stop her from coming to the country. Now, they finally managed to win the request to appeal this decision in the Supreme Court. And now the interesting part is her lawyer has been speaking to the press. He's kicking off. Shamima is kicking off. Everyone's angry. And there's also a bit of leaking situation that's happening with the decision and the ruling, essentially. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Home Office and Priti Patel in general, because the Home Office have been very complacent on a number of fronts, including the Dover situation with the French boats coming in. So we're going to talk about that and update, and also Sadiq Khan. But let's start with Shamima. So yeah, it was reported that Shamima and her return is now put on hold as the government has won the right to appeal in the Supreme Court. Now the High Court has ruled that any return must be put on hold while the government appeal the decision. At a remote hearing on Friday, the Court of Appeal granted the Home Office permission to appeal against its ruling at the Supreme Court. Now, Lady Justice King has said that the case raised points of law of general public importance, which should be considered by the court, UK's highest court. I think this is one of those biggest problems with Shamima's case, because she became essentially famous and well known, it actually doesn't really help her case. If she were a random, unknown kind of individual in this situation, it's happened before with the courts where judges make certain decisions and nobody actually finds out at the end of the day. So we're lucky here. Now, the judges are saying that they have to be fair and just. So they're also giving permission to her lawyer to appeal. And so it's going to be a long process. We're just going to go back and forth. And I don't think that she's going to, even if she comes to the country, firstly, it's going to cost us millions of pounds in terms of security, and the taxpayer has to pay for it. But at the end of the day, I don't think she'll win her citizenship back. Now, the court also heard that the apparent leaking of the Court of Appeal's draft judgment, or the essential contents of that judgment, to the Sun ahead of its formal publication would be referred to the Attorney General, because these things have happened before when it comes to leaking. So they said, this is a big issue. You can't really leak any sort of judgment, any details or essential contents of it before it's actually happened. And Lady Justice King has said that there was a breach of the embargo. Either a copy of that judgment or the essential contents of that judgment were disclosed or passed on to the Sun national newspaper in advance of the judgment being handed down on the 16th of July. And so the judge has added that the article was removed during the course of the night before the Court of Appeal gave its ruling. Now, so everyone's now concerned because they're saying that it's potentially a senior government source that has done this. And the other side are saying, obviously, it's unlikely that Shamima's side has reported this. But obviously, Lady Justice King has said that she intends to report the matter to the Attorney General. And as we said, Sir James has added that there was no suggestion or accusation that this was actually coming from Shamima or her legal team. But one cannot assume that it was definitely Her Majesty's government either. Yeah, shambles, absolute shambles. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, this is up to the Supreme Court. And as we all know, the Supreme Court are very good at making decisions. Very good at making the right decision. But the Home Office and Priti Patel are trying their best to stop her from coming back, because they also know the public pressure. It's not just about the funding of it. That has to come from the taxpayers' purse. It's also, it is a security threat. It's also it will create a bad precedent when it comes to the future individuals in a similar case. Now, for those of you not familiar with this whole thing, at the time it was Sajid Javid who got rid of her British citizenship, and this whole thing kicked off because of that. Now, following Sajid Javid revoking her British citizenship, earlier this year, the Special Immigration Appeals Commission heard her challenge, because that's what they do as a tribunal, and they found that she cannot play any meaningful part in her appeal, and that to that extent, the appeal will not be fair and effective. And then they said that, in order for her to actually go through a fair process, she has to be able to come back to the country to do that. Now, speaking of coming back to the country, as you know, we have a massive problem near Dover, and with the French boats coming in, and nobody cares. We've had dozens every day and hundreds overall. This year alone, we've had over 3,000 people entering this country illegally, and things are getting worse. We just got a new video, so I'm going to show you this clip and how the border force are essentially welcoming these people in.
What's the point in having borders? I mean, really, what is the point? Look how many there are. So many. Let's try and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting 18 just on this one load. This is for one coach. Just one coach. Look how they get treated. They're welcomed in open arms. This is absolutely disgusting. I'm the only person here reporting. No media whatsoever. But here you go. You can see exactly what happens. Straight onto the coaches. How about that?
I mean, is it me, or is absolutely the whole thing is ridiculous? Because the situation is we are giving millions of pounds to the French authorities to stop them from getting on these boats and coming here. Now, what happens is, for some reason, these people get on these boats, and somehow the French authorities, instead of stopping them from leaving France, they actually escort them to the UK. And it's not that difficult. The whole situation isn't supposed to be complicated. The UK and France have an agreement when it comes to this border and the channel. So why are the French boats essentially escorting them to all these dinghies to Dover, and we just accept them instead of actually sending them back? It's because our politicians have been very weak recently, and I'm not just talking about the central government, because yes, the Home Office has been absolutely shambolic and the border force have been terrible, but our elected politicians have also been very poor. I mean, look at the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, the guy who looks like Bane with his face mask. So this guy has other priorities when it comes to the safety and security of London. Well, he doesn't care. So he's going after, he's turning London into a woke city, very woke, because that's the priority. Yes, as Sadiq Khan has said that for too long, our public spaces have failed to reflect our city's great diversity. It's time for this to change. Today, we've announced our new partners board who will provide the expertise needed to improve diversity in London's public realm. Essentially, when you look at the details of this, so it says Sadiq is creating the Commission for Diversity in the Public Realm. It sounds so communistic. To help ensure London's achievements and diversity are suitably reflected. Now, this new partners board will allow the Commission to share the expertise of a range of statutory bodies and policymakers, including Arts Council England, Black Cultural Archives, and Historic England. And seriously, the whole... the funny thing is, we are paying for this, obviously. He wants to have this board to review London and make London more diverse. And why? I don't understand this. The mayor of London is Sadiq Khan. How much more diverse are we going to get? Is this about skin color? Is it about gender? Is it about... They don't really care about diversity of thought, do they? Yeah, this is what they're dealing with. And this guy was supposed to be challenged back in May for his re-election. Now he's going to be in his job for the next year at least, and it's highly likely that he's going to win his re-election because Sean Bailey, the Conservative candidate, so far, he needs to step up his game because he's been very weak. He's been absolutely terrible. The whole team, it's not just about him, the campaign team have been absolutely shambolic. It doesn't really work this way when it comes to Sadiq Khan, because everybody in London should know his poor track record, and it's not difficult for the Tory party to raise awareness across the city and just We need people who are better with media. We need people who are better with campaigning. These idiots are still approaching this whole thing traditionally. Things are changing, and Sadiq Khan has a whole PR machine behind him in City Hall, which, you know, we're paying for it, by the way. London taxpayers are paying for it, and they're helping him and his image for his re-election. Yeah, this is our politics, guys. This is our political system. So yeah, Shamima's not coming. Sadiq Khan is turning London into a woke city, and Dover votes are still coming in. So this is the update I have for you guys on this great Saturday. The weather is brilliant. It's not as hot as yesterday, but it's still good. So thanks for watching. Click on the subscribe button if you enjoy the content, and if you want to support the channel, then find the link in the description. Become a member of the channel. You get a lot of perks and benefits. I'm ITC. I'll see you guys in the next video.